What was that feeling after you got the transplant?
I woke up and I started crying because it's funny because my dad, before I went into the transplant, into the surgery, my dad was like, "Are you afraid to die?" Like, because it's a possibility you could die during this procedure because your heart, I won't have a heart in there until they put the other one. So it's like anything could happen. And I said, no, I don't think I'm afraid to die because I'm gonna be asleep. If I die, I'm not gonna know. Like, it's different. I feel like if I was to see death coming, then it's different. But at that moment, I had so much faith that everything was gonna happen that I hadn't even thought about that question myself. Like, damn, what if I die? I didn't even think about that. When I woke up, I was like so happy to be alive that I told my dad that yes, I was scared to die.
Thank you for tuning in to the Mike Squires and Friends podcast. You can support by subscribing on YouTube or downloading on your preferred podcast platform. And definitely go do that because it helps us grow and I can have more incredible guests on the podcast. The Mike Squires and Friends podcast is proudly sponsored by DistroKid. Looking to broaden your musical horizons as an artist? Discover DistroKid. With its smooth and rewarding music distribution platform, DistroKid offers unlimited uploads while ensuring artists retain 100% of their royalties and earnings. Join the community of over 1 million artists who trust DistroKid to distribute their music across major platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, TikTok, Tidal, and so many others. Having personally used DistroKid since 2018, I can attest to their superiority amongst distribution services. Collaborating with fellow artists has become effortless, especially with the ability to easily send splits of songs, streamlining the creative process. With the DistroKid app, accessing these benefits is now more convenient than ever. Safely sign up or log in with two-factor authentication, upload releases on the fly, monitor earnings, and withdraw funds from your DistroKid bank. Stay updated on royalties through push notifications, effortlessly share hyperfollow links, manage account details seamlessly, and track streaming stats from Spotify and Apple. Additionally, explore Mixia for professional-grade mastering, DistroVid for music video distribution, and Instant Share for secure file sharing with collaborators, producers, and more. The DistroKid app is available on both iOS and Android. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play Store to revolutionize your music career. Visit distrokid.com/VIP/Mike Squires to get 30% off your first year membership. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Mike Squires and Friends. Today, I'm joined by a good friend of mine, an artist that I've known for a very long time. Fresco, welcome to the podcast, dude.
Thank you for having me.
You might be the person that I've known the longest.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's come on the podcast, dude. I was thinking about that because I've known you since high school.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, dude, because I'm just like thinking back to those days, and we've shot a music video very early on too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did.
Yeah, dude. I just like kind of thinking like, let's talk about that music video, right? Because that was one of my earliest music videos shot in my mom's basement.
Yeah.
What do you remember from that experience, dude?
I mean, it was my first time making music too, so it was like, and that's when I used to make music in English. Now I make music in Spanish only, so it's interesting because it just, and my name was Mateo, but now my artist name is Fresco. So it was like the beginning, everything, the beginning was just, I started was basically with you in that video.
Which is crazy, dude, and like, you know, I've seen you more recently. I just saw you perform at the Love Fest in Stanford. Yeah. Yep. You know, how do you feel, you know, when you're trying to get into these like performances, like how do you prepare for something like that?
Well, I mean, I feel like a performance is always something fun. I love doing it, and I just go and do my best. I just pick what I feel is good for the crowd, what I feel is going to be good for the event, because, you know, there's music for certain crowds, and even though it was in English, mostly people that was there, it was, I would say that it was a little hard this time, harder, because they weren't going to understand what I was saying. But I still gave my best. I went with my boy Tisan. He had a great performance too. He was helping me out. So it's not only myself, you know. I got people that help me too. Yeah,
no, and I remember seeing Alex there. You know, yeah. Alex and I also go way back, dude.
Yeah. A1, shout out to A1.
Yeah, but I want to talk to you. What made you want to change from, you know, making English music going into Spanish music?
I feel like my Spanish is better than my English.
That's fair.
So that was a big part too. And then my boy Pacheco, he told me, he was like, why don't you try making Spanish music? And I did it, and I liked it more. So I enjoyed doing it more in Spanish.
Yeah, and then what made you want to change your name as well?
I don't even know. I felt like maybe I needed something that was different aside from my real name. I wanted to be like my government name to just be my government name.
Yeah,
not
no,
my
that's
artist
fair.
name. So yeah, but besides that, I felt like Fresco matched me well. You know, I'm always trying to be fresh, always trying to be cool. So Fresco it is.
Yeah. So I saw you at Friendsgiving last year at First Class Studios. For those who don't know, it's basically the Thanksgiving. It's like a day after normal Thanksgiving where we all get together at the studio and people bring food and everything. You told me a story of something that happened to you that's insane that I didn't know about.
So June 3rd of last year, I got a heart transplant. I suffered a heart failure, cardiomyopathy in medical terms. It's basically when your heart just gives out. It doesn't. Only 5% of my heart was working when I got to the hospital. So I got to the Stanford Hospital. This was the day after Mother's Day, which is crazy. So I spent Mother's Day with my mom. Back then, I was living by myself, and my mom's, when I went to see her, she's like, "You look crazy. Like, you look pale. You look like you look dead alive." So I was like, "Wow." I wasn't feeling nothing yet. The next day, I woke up like without no type of air, like I couldn't breathe. And I told my mom, "Yeah, I think I gotta go to the hospital." When we get to the hospital, you know, emergency always takes a little bit before you could go into the back. Nah, when I got my vitals done, it was so fast. They came with a wheelchair and everything. They were like, "Are you okay? Like, can you walk?" And I was like, "Yeah, I could walk." They're like, "All right, follow us." We went to cardiology, and that's when they told me that I was gonna be there for a while. And I didn't know what was going. They didn't tell me right there the first day that I needed a heart transplant. They did a bunch of, I don't know what you call that, tests,
yeah,
all of that. And the next day, the doctor came. Now the cardiologist, like the head cardiologist there, and he was like, "Right now your heart is like working very low." They did echocardiograms, and the pump of the heart was weak. It was like I was slowly dying to the point where he said like 2-3 more days, your parents would have found you dead, because my heart. They literally gave me maybe like 2 months of life. Once I was at the hospital, so I needed to find a heart within the next 2 months, because even at the hospital I was gonna die if they didn't find a heart for me. So when all this happened in Stanford, on my 4th day, that's when I was the worst. I literally I was dying, and the doctors came, they rushed me, and they brought me downstairs, and they put this, I forget what it's called, it's like they put it through your groin and your aorta. It goes all the way from down there, it goes across to your heart, and it goes into your artery, and then it goes into your heart, and it helps it pump, because my heart was giving out. So my own heart wasn't working anymore. Then they put something on my neck. They did that, and then that was artificially, so my heart was no longer working. It was artificially working throughout that machine. And then I was doing so bad that I had to get in a helicopter. They took me to New Haven, to Yale, because they didn't have they didn't have the technology for a heart transplant in Stanford. So I needed to go to a bigger hospital. So they took me in a helicopter over there, and then that's when they told me, they're like, because I woke up there, I was asleep, they woke me up over there, and then they're like, "Listen, like we have to tell you that you need a heart transplant. Your heart, we tried through the balloon, we tried through everything, and your heart's just not coming back. So the only option is a heart transplant." And then it gets more interesting, because now you're looking at being on the transplant list, you know. So you got to get accepted by what do you call, maybe like 15 people who all get together. They did maybe like 1,000 exams. They came psychologically. They ask you questions. They make you look at a paper and be like, "Okay, look at that image, and then look at the other one," and then they go back to that first image and say, "What time was on the clock?" Like, they want to see things like that to see if you are eligible for a heart. And yeah, so when they did all those questions, they went back and they came back and told me that they accepted me for the transplant list. And what's even more interesting is that I didn't know this, but by age and like how much time you have left of life, you go higher and higher on the list. So I was literally the second in the whole country waiting for a heart, because the first one was an 18-year-old, and then me. So he got his heart, and then thanks to God, I got my heart too.
During even just the physical battle, there's a huge mental battle that goes alongside that, dude.
Yeah.
You know, what are you thinking when you get news like this?
it was so fast that to this day, I still haven't processed it, bro. It's insane because, all this happened within like a month and a week. So you see so many doctors, they come draw blood every day, x-rays, this and that. You just don't even have time to think about what's going on because now that you get to think about it, wait, hold on, let me get your vitals or something. So it's like you never really got time. And then after my transplant, that's when I had more time to come down and understand what was going on. Because at first I was just like, what's going on? What is happening? Like, I was 29 when that happened. I'm like, even them, they were like, what happened? Like 29, they didn't even understand what was going on. They had to take my heart once they had it and take it. And they actually asked me if I wanted to donate my heart, but to science, not even to anybody, because obviously it couldn't work. So for them to test, because they didn't understand what happened to my heart, they gave me options like maybe you had a pre-heart attack when you were younger, but because I was always playing soccer, being athletic and all of that, they were like, maybe your body sustained it, but it still hurt it so much that all the blood that was coming in wasn't pumping back out. So the heart started getting bigger and bigger and bigger till it was breaking tissues. And now I wasn't able to get full blood into my other organs or the other vital organs. So then that was another thing that they were scared of because now my other organs were starting to get affected. So they needed to find a heart ASAP.
Yeah, when you're going in for the transplant, do you remember what your headspace was like that day?
I just prayed. I just prayed. My mom prayed. And it's funny because, sometimes you don't even understand little things like a prayer. Like I believe in God. I believe in the universe and stuff like that. So I just started praying and it helped a lot. It helped a lot. It helped me get through it. I had a lot of people around the world praying because, I know people in Italy, people in Spain. I have family in Spain. In Colombia, I was born there. Here, in Germany, I got a cousin. They were all praying. So it was like so much energy towards me that it was also very, very helpful for me to get through it.
Yeah. What was that feeling after you got the transplant?
I woke up and I started crying because it's funny because my dad, before I went into the transplant, into the surgery, my dad was like, "Are you afraid to die?" Like, because it's a possibility you could die during this procedure because your heart, I won't have a heart in there until they put the other one. So it's like anything could happen. And I said, no, I don't think I'm afraid to die because, like, I'm going to be asleep. If I die, I'm not going to know. Like, it's different. I feel like if I was to see death coming, then it's different. But at that moment, I had so much faith that everything was going to happen that I hadn't even thought about that question myself. Like, damn, what if I die? I didn't even think about that. When I woke up, I was, like, so happy to be alive that I told my dad that, yes, I was scared to die. Because when I woke up, I felt real, real happy.
No, that's good.
Bring tears to my eyes to this day.
What was one of the first things you did after?
It's funny because, right, you would think that you would have to stay in bed for a long time after the transplant. No, the next day the doctors come with physical therapists and they get you to start walking the next day after the surgery.
Because they want you active?
Because they want your heart to start moving. They want you active. And on top of that, I was laying down in the bed for a month and 1 day. a month and a week. So that whole time, I was not moving. So when I woke up, I had like spaghetti legs. I couldn't really walk strong. So now they wanted me to start walking too.
And when, you heard that you had, they found a heart for you, what was that like? Because I know waiting could be scary too.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the best news of my life, bro. Or the best news of my life. I was with my mom and just my mom. I thought my dad was there, but he was working. And I just FaceTimed everybody, and I told them they found the heart, and my whole family started crying. I started crying. It's just a feeling that makes you know that you're gonna live. Like, I'm gonna get through this. But also it kills me because that means somebody else had to pass away in order for me to get a heart. So it's one family that's happy, and then another family that's going through it devastated because they just lost somebody.
Do you know the family?
I personally don't know them, but so after 6 months after you get your transplant, you can contact the person through this, it's like private place or entity that it's It's like literally like a black market, but legal.
Okay.
Like you're transferring organs, but it has to go through the government, through that industry. And the mom of the person wrote to me. She wrote to me, and it's devastating. He was only 15 years old. His name was Angel, and he died in a car accident.
How did you feel when you got that letter?
I don't know, bro. It's words from a mother that just lost her son, and based on what she said, it was like an only child. Mm-hmm. So that's even harder, I feel like, you know. But in the letter, she also told us that he donated all his organs, so he saved 6 lives. And the Angel didn't die instantly; he was brain dead. And his mom was the one that decided to donate the organs, because they asked her, they told her, like, your son is not going to be normal. You know, he's going to be like a vegetable. You know, he's not going to be able to just have a normal life. But he has the chance to do this, donate. There's a person in New Haven waiting for a heart. This person here waiting for a kidney. Here, you know, waiting for whatever. So the mom, like, she did it. She's the one that decided to donate the organs. So
yeah, and I can't even imagine being in that position, having to make a decision like that. Yeah. That's got to be tough. So, you know, you've been through this crazy roller coaster. Your perspective on life has to be different now, dude. Yeah. You know, what are some things that you think have changed from before and after?
Well, before I was like not going through life in a good way, you know, like I was doing drugs, I was partying too much, I was just involved in a lifestyle that now, like, I look at it and I'm like, why was I doing that, you know? Like, now I see life with a different vision. I see it like, you gotta be thankful to just even be able to shower, bro, because like when I didn't shower for a while, or even just using the bathroom, like I needed help for all of that. So I felt like my independence was taken for a month, and now like I really value everything, every little thing, every single second and what I go through, like I value it, because I might not be here, and a lot of people don't make it to 30, and thankfully I did. So
yeah, when you hear stories like this, I hear a lot of people say they feel like they got a second chance.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you got a second chance?
Yeah, for sure. How can you not, you know? Like, it's impossible not to believe and think of something that's so powerful and so big that could actually be done. Science is insane. Like, I don't know nobody that ever got a transplant, yet let alone a heart, you know? Like, that's the most vital organ you have. So I was like, wow, like, I don't know, man. So many things go through my head. Like, I'm just thankful.
Yeah. And you said June 3rd of last year is when you found out?
No, June 3rd, I got my transplant.
You got your transplant. Yeah. So, I mean, you just passed the year date of you getting the transplant. You know, how did you feel once you hit that, like, 1 year mark with it?
It was a very difficult year, because my body was getting used to everything. I take medicine for the rest of my life now. I have to take 8 pills in the morning, 8 pills at night. So that changed. now I got to take medicine, you know. I have to visit my doctors consistently. I had 10 hospitalizations because I just felt terrible, throwing up, just not, like, you know, stomach problems. I had to see the GI doctor twice. I got endoscopies done. Like, it was the worst year of my life, but the best year as well, because it was like the most, and I got a girlfriend also.
Oh, beautiful thing, dude.
Yeah. So she's been through it. She's been through it too, because she's been there with me the whole time.
Yeah.
And like, she's helped me too, bro. She's helped me process this whole thing.
Yeah. And I feel like, you know, getting a girlfriend and all this, like, it's just kind of like bringing your life to a place that I feel like is good for your mental health, and just a life that you want to live and where you're supposed to be, versus, like, you know, before with the drugs, alcohol, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Do you think, like, in this process that you found your purpose? And what do you think your purpose is, if you have found it?
I don't know if I found the purpose, but I definitely know that my path is music. Like I want to keep making my music. And before I've always had the talent, you want to call it, but I never had the discipline. Now I have the discipline. You know, now I have like the drive, the energy, that force to go and get it. Before it was like I was just walking.
No, that's real too, dude, because I say that because I know that when I'm out and I'm at the studio, who am I always running into? You, dude. When I'm at the events, the shows, who am I always running into? You, dude. You know what I mean? So like from an outsider point of view, I see that discipline and I see the team that you're building and I see that you are making a lot of music. You're coming up with the rollouts. You're putting it all together, dude.
Yeah. No, and I wouldn't be able to do it without Mike Melodia and Tisan. Like
Melodia, dude.
Yeah. That's my guy, man. And Tisan too. Like they elevated my music to a whole different level. When us three get together, it's like a tornado. You can't stop us. It's crazy. I love it.
After the transplant, when did you get back into the studio?
I mean, I started writing in the hospital. I was writing in the hospital. So music was that helped me too, man. Because while I was going through it, I would write my music. I would write lyrics and just things that would come up to my head. What was your question, my bad?
No, I was asking you, when did you get back into the studio? Like after
a month after.
A month after?
Yeah, when I got home. Like, so I was I got my transplant. I was at the hospital for like 3 weeks after. When I got home, a month after. So basically, like, I got in the studio right away.
Yeah. How was that feeling once you got back into the booth after, going through that experience?
That's when I knew that this is what I want. Because it felt different when I went and worked with them. Like I said, bro, they elevated my music to a different level. They helped me write. They helped me with the flows, the energy. So it makes me a better artist, and it's better for music, period.
Yeah, and I feel like even just going through something like that, your perspective and like what you're saying in your songs is probably a lot different too, like the types of songs you're making.
Yeah, but honestly, I make reggaeton, so you gotta speak more like about, you gotta be sexual, you gotta have flow, you gotta have energy. The lyrics gotta be lyrics that people want to sing too. So you gotta think like, what would you want to sing? Like if I write a song, what do I see 30,000 people singing and shouting with all their energy? Like you gotta think about things like that.
Yeah, what was one of the first songs you made once you were out?
I made a song called Explota, actually produced by A1.
Oh, let's go, dude.
Yeah, and
that makes me happy to hear.
Yeah, bro, and he did it while I was at the hospital, and it actually starts with a heartbeat.
Oh, insane, dude.
And then he was like, bro, he sent it to me, and he was like, I thought about you when I made it, and it was only right, bro. It felt amazing.
Yeah, what's the song about?
I speak a lot about what I actually went through in the past, but I made it more like commercial. I speak about doing drugs. I speak about believing in myself. Like this is like walking down. And one of my lyrics is walking down the street like I own this.
Yeah.
So because that's what I felt like after the transplant. I felt like I'm here. I own this. I felt like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of songs that like, I don't know if you're familiar with Kendrick Lamar's song "Swimming Pools."
Yeah.
That song is an anti-drinking song, but it's like commercially, he presented it in a way where it sounds like it's a drinking song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting when I hear this song, where it's like, it's talking about all the past stuff, but the way you presented it. When you're making your songs, like what's something that's important to you when like crafting a song? Like what makes a Fresco song a Fresco song?
I think the energy. I think the energy, because I always bring good energy to the booth, and I feel like when you hear it, you feel that energy. You hear that energy. So I think that's what Fresco is. Like you'll know when I come up. Like obviously when it's different artists, but you're gonna know, oh, this is Fresco.
Yeah. What's something that you've learned on your artist journey?
How to sing a little better.
Oh, let's go, dude. That's a good thing to know.
I was just like rapping a lot. But now like with Mike and Tisan, they made me sing more. So
I just had Mike on the podcast recently, and literally what he said was one of his goals as an engineer is to push artists outside of their comfort zone. Yeah. So you feel like Mike does that for you?
For sure. He does. He's strong too. Like he'll tell you, no, do it again. Or like, he's very, very, very good at letting you know, like, nah, that's not a good lyric. Or nah, look, you said this, it has to flow into the next one, like, so he pushes me to be better for sure.
Yeah, and one thing I like about Mike is that he actually cares. We talked about this because I know there's a million engineers out there that'll just do it for the paycheck, just like, all right, go in, all right, good, yep, good, good, yep, good job. Nah, he even just everybody over at First Class, you know what I mean? They genuinely all care and like want you to level up.
Yeah,
you know?
And you feel at home when you're at the studio, bro. Like you walk in, like you feel love as soon as you walk in. From the first person you see is like, yo, bro, what up? How you been? Just love. So I feel like wanting to go record there. Yeah.
And you know, who are some of the artists that you've worked with more recently too in more recent times?
I worked with 8-1 a lot as a producer. I worked with Tison and Mike. We made a song called Cautela. It's on YouTube and all digital platforms. And that's really who I'm working with right now, just them two.
Yeah, I bring it up though because like First Class to me is like such a collaborative space, dude. Yeah. I know that when I'm in there, like there's always like people walking in and out of like each other's rooms and just like popping in, seeing what everyone's up to.
Yeah, and it's nobody cares about that neither. Like if you walk into my session, it's love, and if I walk into somebody's session, you feel that energy too. So you feel comfortable there.
Yeah. What was one of the biggest struggles of your music career?
One of my biggest struggles, I feel like switching from English to Spanish. I think that would be it because it wasn't easy. I was always making music in English, you know. So it was like, okay, let me try this. So now I had to let's say I did English for 5 years. Now the next 5 years is gonna be making Spanish music. So I have to get to the level that maybe I felt like I was at during English.
Yeah, but you know what's funny just about like, you know, any sort of international music. A lot of the time, I think it's just about the vibe too, because obviously the Latin market is huge, you know what I mean? And there's everyone who understands there. But there have been some songs that have transcended the Latin market or like any internet, like the two songs I think of that come to mind. You got Gangnam Style, which was like the South Korean song. Yeah. You know what I mean? Nobody over here understood what he was saying.
But he was dancing.
But everyone was vibing. You know the dance. Everyone's thinking of the dance. You know what I mean? And then Danza Kuduro. And I know I just slaughtered that.
Nah, you said it good, man.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what a Danza Kuduro is. A dance song? Like,
I mean, neither.
The point I'm trying to make, though, is that songs really transcend language. You know what I mean?
You cultures.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't even need to understand. Sometimes when the vibe is good, the vibe is good.
That's why, it's funny you say that because the day at the Love Fest, I said that, listen, sometimes it's hard to understand a language, right? We don't all understand it, but you can understand a vibe. And I just wanted people to vibe with us. And I felt like everybody vibed, not understanding what we were saying, but the energy was undeniable. Like it was dope.
Yeah, and the way the Latin market has grown in music is absolutely insane. Obviously, you have like the Bad Bunnies, which is just, I'm pretty sure I saw a video of him like standing on a gas station in Puerto Rico. That was like I was like, what's going on here? Yeah. But do you ever like, you know, what do you see for yourself in your career? Like, what's your goal?
Man, sky's the limit. As far as I could go, as far as I could go with my music, I want to go to every single place in the world with my music, you know?
What do you think gets you there?
Discipline. The discipline, hard work. Like, you could be good at something, but if you don't practice it, if you don't take it serious, you're not going nowhere. And I take this serious, and I know that I'm going to go somewhere. Because now, like, I feel it. It feels different.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about discipline, because discipline is something important because, you know, if you're trying to have a career in music, you can't half-ass this thing. You got to be all in and like really take it seriously. You got to treat it like a job because that's what it is. It's a business.
You got to believe it.
Yeah, dude. So what are some things that you think you've done like and changed with like whether your recording process or just how you're treating your music career as a whole?
Yeah. I feel like I'm at the studio more now too. Like I'm just putting in hours and hours and hours. And also like, you know, before it was like on my alone time I would just do something else. Now on my alone time, I'm writing, I'm making music, I'm listening to music, you know, always trying to better my craft and understand what's best for it right now. Because, you know, music changes throughout time. So I need to know what's best now and in the future. Like, try to maybe come up with something better, something new. That's what it is. You got to, and that's discipline. You need discipline for that.
And you feel your time management's better, too.
Yeah. Now I drop a song every month, once a month, at least.
No, that's good. And the way the algorithm is right now, that's kind of the play where it's like they say like every 3 weeks, like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So consistency is so important because people forget real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like if you're not in their faces like, 24/7.
You kind of gotta force yourself, like, cause it's hard when you're by yourself, like, and especially like working with social media. That's not easy. Like, posting at all times, having content. That's hard.
And that's the name of the game too. And it is hard doing it by yourself. I'm like somebody who like very much does everything by myself. Mm-hmm. And it's like you just kind of have to channel this self-motivation where it's like, all right, just post. My whole thing that I always say is if I ever get into a little, funk of not posting or like, one, I try not to be terribly hard on myself because, me personally, I'm like my number one critic and I'm always hard on myself.
Correct.
But my whole thing is to break the cycle. You know what I mean? So it's like
that's hard.
Breaking the cycle is so hard. Like sometimes
hard.
I'll get up something that I don't think is either the best post or the best whatever just to break the cycle. Yeah. Because it's hard staying motivated. Like, how do you stay motivated within music?
You have to motivate yourself, bro. You got to do it. You got to wake up and be like, you know what, I got to do this because nobody's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
So you got to really try. I feel like also having the right team around you. And by that, I mean at least have somebody that listens to your music and actually thinks about it and like a real song and helps you make it better. You know what I'm saying? So you want to have at least 1 or 2 people that could help you also and have that even though you're doing everything by yourself, just always have like 2 or 3 people helping you out too.
Yeah, I really admire that about you though too, like just the team that you've built because, for me, I feel like a lot of times I'm the one who's like, yo, you should do this. Yo, you should try this. You should do this. Like very rarely is someone like, yo, Mike, do this. You know what I mean? Oh, this will work for you. You know what I mean? I'm like kind of over here just guessing the Wild West, but like, to have someone like Alex and like everybody, like just to be like, yo, dude, what if you did this for this song? Like, what if we shot a video of you?
Yeah, he helps me out a lot with that. He really helps me out with content. For my first song I dropped this year, after the 2 songs with A1, because I did 2 songs with A1, and then the third one I did it with Tisan. And for that one that I did with Tisan, Lo Presentí, he helped me out to make the content for the to post before the song came out. So he's there regardless, whether I work with him directly or whatever, he's still there for us. So I love that.
Yeah, and having someone like that cares, you know what I mean, is an absolute blessing, dude, because that's hard to come by, dude.
And he loves it too, bro. He loves making music, so that's dope.
Yeah, and I feel like you guys are a great team together. Yeah. When you're building a team, like, what do you look for? Like, at the end of the day, they're probably, a lot of these are your friends beforehand, but, like, when you're building a team, like, what's something, like, a quality that you look for in people that you want to rise with?
I feel like we have to be on the same page. Like, literally, like, if we're all in a boat, we all gotta, we all gotta paddle in order for it to go straight. If I paddle by myself, it's gonna be doing circles. So
no, it's a good analogy, dude.
Yeah, so you gotta be on the same page in order to be. If you want to get to the same place, you gotta have the same mentality as your team.
No, that's real, dude, and I think it is important too because like the last thing you want on your team is like someone who's just sitting in the boat weighing it down, and you're just like,
like no, you can't do that because then it's not gonna work.
Have you ever had a moment where you were feeling down or something, and like someone from your team was just like, "Yo, what are we doing here? Get together, dude."
I feel like that happens all the time, even at the studio. Like, some days you don't have that flow.
It's hard.
Somebody picks it up for you, or like you're going through it, and you're headed somewhere else, but you're still working, bro. You can't forget that you're at work. So to have people that could like push you with, hell, come on, wake up, let's go, you got this, that's dope. So that's my team for me, thankfully.
Yeah, what are you currently working on right now, dude?
So throughout this whole, basically, I would say last year and the beginning of this year, Tisan, Mike, and I just worked on a lot of songs. We did maybe like 21 songs, I don't know, 20 songs. So, but not for me, I'm saying for all 3 of us. And I have 5 songs, I've already dropped 3, so I got 2 more coming.
Let's go, dude. Yeah, how have the response been to the first 3?
It's good, man. I never thought that it was gonna be this good. I got people tagging me, like sending me, like listening, text pictures, like, so that's good. That means they actually like it. Before you kind of like had to like, bro, here, listen to my song. Now I just drop it and I got people like feedback.
Yeah, it's hard, especially when you're just getting into music and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a hustle, dude. Like this, listen, if you're getting into music, prepare to hustle, dude. And also prepare to learn a lot more than just making music, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure there are things that you've had to learn where it's like, you know, I want to be an artist. Why do I got to be the social media guy now?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why do I got to do? But it's just comes with the job, you know what I mean? If you want a successful career as an artist, you got to do all the puzzle pieces. You know, what's something that you feel like you had to learn?
I had to learn how to believe in myself. Because sometimes it's hard to drop a song and you only get 100 views. You're like, damn, but this is a good song. Why does it only have 100 views? So I had to be like, nah, you got this. Go, next song, you know, 1,000 views. I got up to 23,000 views on Lo Presentí, so that was dope. I've never hit that number before.
Yeah, and it kind of is. There's like almost, I don't like using this word, but I've heard it used a lot, and I guess it applies to me too. But there kind of has to be a slight level of like delusion where it's like, yo, I know I'm dope. I got this. I just got to keep going. Okay, that wasn't the one. Keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. And that's the thing. Like at a certain point, you just drop so much that you become impossible to ignore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's what I want to be. I don't want to say annoying, but I want to be to the point where like, oh, this guy again.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to be that.
Yeah, but the repetition's good because I think, I don't know the exact numbers, but I know statistically, the more and more that you hear something, even if you don't like it at first, just because you've heard it more and more, you end up liking it. And that's like the same thing with like radio songs. Like there might be a song that's spinning on the radio and you're like, yo, this song is not it. But then you get to the point where you've just heard it over and over.
You start
and over.
singing it.
Yeah, you start singing it just because, you know, like you start associating it with like, oh man, I heard that on the boat trip. Oh man, I heard that on the drive. I heard that like, you know what I mean? So like you kind of attach that the stupid song that you're like, so
how is this here? But it's there, and then yeah, bro, you put a song in somebody's ear for a whole week. By the like 6th day, they're gonna be singing it.
Yeah, and I feel like that's always like a rewarding feeling too. Like when you make a song that like, you know, maybe you walk by and you just hear someone like humming the melody or something. You're like, oh shit, like I know that song. That's me.
Yeah. My boy actually told me that one day. He's like, bro, I caught myself humming a song, and then I'm like, wait, that's Fresco's song. And I was like, yeah, bro, sometimes you gotta get with the flow.
Yeah, dude. When you're in the studio too, like, what's that moment like? Are you somebody who like knows the song is the song once you got it, or like, are you someone who puts it out and just kind of see what it does?
Nah, we have. Well, before, yeah. Now we have a plan. Now we're dropping this. Like I just dropped July 4th, Gafas Louis. That was a whole summer theme song, like Caribbean, like really flowy, perfect for the summer. I got a song that's coming out next month. It's a little more stronger, more reggaeton, more perreo, what they call it. And then after that, it's a slower song, you know, coming down a little bit, talking more about what the summer was like. Yeah.
So a question I have for you, like, what are some of the challenges that you feel like when you changed over from like English music to Spanish music, like that you're facing now, like outside of like the language barrier? Like, do you find that it's harder to market, easier to market? You know, like, what are just some of the things that you're dealing with?
I think that Spanish music right now, like, is huge.
It's so huge, dude. Yeah.
So a lot of people want to be artists. So it becomes even harder now. Before, not everybody wanted to be an artist. You know, I'm not saying everybody now wants to, but more than before, for sure, I feel like.
Yeah.
Now, you go to Puerto Rico, a lot of people want to be reggaetoneros just because they're like, that's where the reggaeton comes from. That's the biggest country.
Yeah.
And then if you're Colombian, you know, the same thing, because that's what's really hitting right there right now with Karol G, Fade, Maluma, all these people. You want kids want to be just like them. So.
Yeah. What do you think, you know, when working on your career and like leveling it up with all these singles, like, are you going to wrap these up into like an album? Like, what's your game plan, you think?
That's what we were talking about. I think that eventually, that's why we did one song at a time, so I could create enough like hype and views for them to want to hear my whole tape, like a whole different
and
thing together.
For anybody that's listening right now, singles are super. Like if you are getting into music right now, singles are the play. It's hard enough to get people to listen to one. It's hard enough to get people to listen to a snippet of a song, let alone a full album. You know what I mean? So I think the way that you're approaching it is smart just because you want to build that demand, dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? You want people to be like, oh, well, I love this song he dropped on July 4th. I love this song. maybe I will check out the album.
Yeah, for sure. So I wanted to drop 5 songs before, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Do you have like a lot of performances and stuff coming up?
No, but we have with Mike. I think we have this like hosting event.
Oh, that's awesome,
Yeah,
dude.
so we're gonna go do that.
That'll be fun, dude.
I don't think I got performances anytime soon.
Yeah. What was the first performance you did after, the transplant?
I did a performance in Luna in Norwalk.
Oh, let's go, dude.
Yeah.
How was that feeling?
It was dope. I was a little scared because that was my first time, so I was like, damn, am I gonna have enough air to do this? But it went good.
Yeah. I know a lot of people can deal with like anxiety and stuff before they go on stage. You get the butterflies or you felt good to go?
You know what's funny? I don't.
I don't either, dude.
I don't.
So like,
I like it.
why do you think you don't get the butterflies, dude? I know why I don't.
Before I used to when I was new.
Yeah.
I didn't believe in myself. But now I'm going up to the stage like people are gonna want to listen to me. So I know I'm gonna get somebody's attention. So I'll go with more confidence.
It's confidence.
now.
I was gonna say that seems like the factor.
Yeah.
For me, I like at a certain point I just like stopped caring. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, I'm gonna be goofy up there anyways, like no matter what, like it's just who I am. So like might as well just embrace it. But it's also kind of a thing of confidence too, where it's like, I'm just like comfortable in my own skin. So I just gotta
Right, and you're just doing you. That's it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to ask too, like who are some of your like influences?
In
If you
music,
have any.
in music,
Or life.
man, every person who's ever been through a situation like mine, bro, like sometimes, like I had this person after my transplant come, he was like, I don't know, 55 maybe, 60. He came up to me and he was a volunteer of a person that goes and talks to a person who just got a transplant, tells you like everything's gonna be okay. So I looked at him like, if you're there, I could be there too. Like you influenced me to want to grow old, because like all this in your head, you start thinking like, damn, like life is really like so ironic. It's just like anything could happen in any second and you could just go.
Yeah, it's fragile.
It's fragile, yeah. It's just a little thin line. So I was like, you know what? Like everybody who's been through any situation health-wise, I admire them for sure, because it's tough.
Yeah, I haven't ever gone through anything like that, but I've had my fair share of down days, and like some advice that I was given is because, when I went through my situation, I wanted to pay everybody back who helped me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it becomes kind of like this burden over you. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's hard to pay somebody back who's done something so incredible for you that like, there's just no way. You know what I mean? But the advice that I was given that keeps me sane now is whenever you have the chance, pay it forward. You know what I mean? So that's what I do now, where it's like, I'm talking about my house burned down, so I'll just say it. Like, for the people that like helped me when my house burned down, I wanted to pay them all back, but it was like, it was stressing me because it's like,
I remember.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like,
I remember.
Like I said, Mateo and I went to high school.
I went to the basement. That's when we recorded the.
That's crazy, as the house was like being rebuilt. Dude. Yeah, dude. Crazy time, dude. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You're the longest. Like, I'm telling you, I've known you the longest out of anyone who's ever come on the pod, which is crazy.
Like 10 plus.
Yo, wait, yeah, dude.
Like 15, actually. Like 15
no,
years.
Dude.
For real.
That's mad funny, dude. But yeah, no, I think paying it forward is like a very important thing, and that's like very much helped me.
Yeah, no, it was so many nurses too that like really guide you through that process. Nurses, doctors, like everybody. It's just like a big team. They call it the heart transplant team because it's like a big team.
Yeah. How many people are on this team?
Man,
so many, just unlimited.
Yeah, so many, because you count surgeons, cardiologists, anesthesiologists. All of them are all part of a team. Like for when I got my endoscopy, the same person that did my anesthesia for the surgery for the transplant did the anesthesia for the endoscopy, because he already knows my body, so he has to be the one to do that. Unless, like, if he's not there, I'm sure somebody else could do it, but he's the first one they pick because he already knows my whole history.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to, like, even just kind of everything we've been talking about. A team is important, dude, because you need a good team no matter what you're doing just to, like, row that boat. There was a lot of people in the boat for you, dude, like, making that happen, so it's like...
And I feel like people take me more serious now because I actually take it serious, since... When I didn't take it serious, nobody's gonna take me serious. But now that I take it serious, people like, I get more feedback. Like I said, more views.
It's funny that you say that because I think that's so important because you really get what you put out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure there are people who look at you now and just be like, yo, I remember when Mateo was, you know, but now he's like, because there becomes like a turning point where it's like, and I believe this for everybody, especially in music, because it's a hard career. It's a very, very hard, challenging career. But, you know, there is a point where, you know, people either fall back, and I'm sure you know a ton of artists that were artists, no longer doing it, and like, then there are the people who double down as like, nah, if I'm gonna live life, this is all I'm doing.
That's me.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
What do you think was the big, like, do you think the transplant was the big turning point for doing it full time, or was it already?
No, I think the transplant like settled me to the point where I had enough time to think, to talk to myself, and to understand what it is that I wanted. And every time I thought about it, I would ask the universe, I'm like, please, like, guide me. And it would always guide me to making music, so.
What's something you learned about yourself in that process?
A lot of things. I learned, I still am a little impatient. That's how you say it?
Yeah, impatient.
But now I'm more patient. So but I'm still a little bit like, you know, it's hard to be patient. But, you know, now I believe that I'm doing better. So that was a difficult one for me. And the transplant helped me be that with people, with myself, with music, because music, it's hard to be patient with music, bro.
Yeah, and it's like, it is a frustrating sport at times, music. You know what I mean? It's just like, because you know, there's that want where it's like, you know, I'm putting this work in, I want this to happen. You know, this needs to happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, you know, it's just one of those things where the thing that helps me with patience is just, I was just like, trust the process. You know what I mean? Like, because to be honest with you, I don't know who I was talking to about this, but when you trust the process, it's important because something that you might want right now, it might not be the time for that to happen right now. And I've heard that a ton of times where it's like, you know, I'm glad that didn't happen a couple years ago because I wasn't ready. Like, I thought I was ready, but like, really, I had so much to like learn. So I think in music, you just have to trust the process.
For sure.
Sure.
And you gotta love the process too.
Yeah, you do have to love it. If
you gotta love it.
Listen, if you're not loving and laughing and enjoying the process, you are crying in this sport, and you're gonna quit because it's crazy how tough music is because it's so cutthroat. You know what I mean? It's like it's a hard business. You know, to like have a career and sustain it. Like,
yeah, making it is hard, but it's not hard like maintaining yourself. You know, staying at the top. Because that's what's hard. Like, even for any sport, even in soccer or whatever, you can make it to the pros, but to maintain in the pros, this competition every day, every single day, you're getting a new player that's just as good as you or better. Now you got to compete. Same thing in music.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think from when you were playing soccer that instilled some discipline in you too, and like some things you take from sports?
Yeah, it makes you responsible too, because you know you gotta do things. You have to have roles in the game. You gotta do this. If you don't do it, you lose. So you start developing responsibilities too, getting to practice, getting to the games. I was the captain of my team, so that's another responsibility on top. Now you gotta but you gotta help out the others too. You gotta be the leader.
Yeah, no, that's real too, and it's kind of, you know, you're the leader in your music career too, because the second you stop, everything stops.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I feel like it's been a very over-encompassing topic, is just teams in this whole thing, dude. Where it's like, you know, knowing how to run a team is important too. And it's like finding the members of a team can be hard too. There's like, it's a lot, but you really, if you're trying to make it in music, you really do want to build a team if you can. I feel like not everybody I've seen has that like luxury, but you know what I mean?
But it took me years to be able to find a team like that. I didn't build it, but it was like together. Organic. It was organic, and it was perfect because we're all on the same page. We all communicate. We have a group chat. We talk. We do this. We do that. We go out to eat together. It's like it's not like we just work on music. Like, we have a friendship too.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it all the way back, dude. I was gonna talk about it in the beginning, but like, let's go back to the high school days too, because that's like where we first met. I don't even remember exactly how we first met. It was probably via soccer, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It had to be. I don't remember 100% though. I'm trying to like figure it out right now in my head.
It's tough. I can't.
It's so far away, dude. But yeah, when did you realize that you had a love for music in the first place, though?
Nah, music has been in my life since I was little. I played like 5 instruments.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even know that, dude.
Not the best at them, but yeah, I play the saxophone.
Oh, let's go, dude.
Yeah, that was my biggest. I think that's the best instrument that I've played. The drum set, I used to play it a little bit. The recorder, the flute for a little bit.
Bro, you got to pull the sax out, dude. You got to like.
I don't even have it. I don't even have one, bro.
Bro,
that's crazy.
How insane would it be though? You're doing a performance, right? Doing your song. All of a sudden, you pull out the sax. You just start. What's his name? Kenny. Who's the saxophone player? It's Kenny something, dude.
I don't know, bro.
I'm about to get chirped in the comments
like,
for not knowing.
This is like. I did this in middle school.
Okay.
Yeah. All middle school, about 3 years. Played the saxophone all 3 years.
Were your parents very musical?
My mom sings all the time. And in Colombia, when you're cleaning the house, music gotta be playing.
Yeah.
So it was even better because I would wake up to music. So music's been in my life forever. But I'm probably the only artist in my family.
Yeah. Are your parents very supportive?
Yeah. They always supported me for soccer, now music. They just whatever I want to do, they want to see me do it, and I love that. I'm so grateful for that.
No, it's a beautiful thing, dude. And Mateo, if you had one message that you wanted to give to the world, what would that be?
I think that the biggest message that I would tell people is listen to your body. Like if something hurts, don't look at it and be like, oh, it'll go away. Because that's what I thought. Like years ago, when I used to have symptoms like I would throw up here and there, like, for no reason, or I would have this weird cough. I would be just like, all right, it's going away. And it happened to be that I ended up needing to get a transplant. And all those symptoms had to do with that. I just didn't know it. I had a little pain in my stomach, like in my lower, like right here in the lower section. And ignored it. Happens to be part of symptoms that your heart is failing. So I ignored a bunch of symptoms. So my biggest advice is if you feel something, like get checked. It doesn't take much to get checked, and it could save your life. It could have saved me from getting a transplant, and I could have just worked. They could have worked on my heart earlier, and I would still have my own heart. So you gotta listen to your body.
No, that's real, dude. Like you're making me think about every sneeze or cough.
It's not that literal. It's like things.
No,
that,
I know what you're saying.
Makes sense. Like if you feel a little worried about what you're feeling, go get checked. It doesn't have if you have a headache. I'm not saying go get checked because you got a headache. But
yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Yeah. But if it keeps reoccurring and not going away, and I totally understand what you're saying, dude.
Correct.
Yeah. So what's the big next thing for you, dude?
Man, right now I think my next big thing is hopefully work on this next few songs that I have, and then drop my first mixtape or album. That's gonna be huge because it's gonna be my first one, and that project is gonna be good for sure. So that's what I would say.
And if people want to connect with you, how can they do it, dude?
I'm on Instagram, Fresco FRESCO _ Telo TELO, and that's my social media. Sure.
Let's go, dude. Well, I appreciate you coming on the pod, dude.
No, thank you for having me,
I
bro.
appreciate you sharing your story too, dude.
Yeah, no, it's a story worth listening to, and maybe it could help somebody else that's going through it.
I think it will, dude.
Yeah.
I think it will. But hell yeah, dude. I appreciate you coming on, dude.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.